is Christina. I'm just coming to you right now because I came across something a minute ago and I just knew I had to share this. It's just a reminder of how good God is. And I almost want to cry just reading it and thinking about all that God has brought me from. And truly, I haven't had the worst life ever. Um, I've had some difficulty at times, and in childhood was kind of tough at times. But truly, people can say you're one thing, and God can do amazing things. Those of you who don't know, when I was about 18 years old, I had already been put into rehab, and I had already gotten involved in drugs and different things, and it truly took a miracle. Someone who really kept on just sharing the love of God with me, and I just wasn't into that religious stuff. But it's amazing how God set me free. And this is right here what I found just right now. It's my psychological evaluation when I was in therapy and rehab. And I think how far God has brought me from. But I want to share this to encourage you that no matter where you're at right now in life, God can truly bring you further than you can ever ask or think of. Even medical professionals pronounce these things over me. And, I've written 2 books now, and a lot of my story and everything. And some of the things in here, people who know me would not believe, but this was what I had dealt with. And just to read a few of the diagnoses that I had received. This was in 2002 and 2004. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, major depressive disorder, reading disorder, expressive language disorder, paranoid personality disorder, psychosocial stressors, academic limitations in reading and difficulties achieving emotional stability, and long-standing family problems, serious difficulties in social and occupational functioning. I want to cry reading this because I'm thinking so many people now, they're like, oh, everybody, you talk to people and you're real like loving with people. And I think you don't know. You don't know where God has brought me from. It's truly a miracle. And when people tell me, oh, well, I'm too shy to do that. Or, I can't read really well. Or I can't really write. I can't write a book. I think to myself, and they look at me and they think I can do all these things. And if they only knew where I've come from. And so here's just some other things. In terms of emotional health, she denies any depression, but she suggests that she is very anxious. She always feels very tense. She wants to freak out. She always has difficulty concentrating in school, and she's always stressed. She finds this very frustrating. She especially gets frustrated when she's trying to learn something new, and she gets confused. She freaks out at new things. People know me, I randomly go into places new, and I love it. But this was me. This is where God has brought me from. She has quite a few flashbacks about childhood, especially when talking about her past. She has crying episodes, loss of sleep. She does have a good appetite, and everybody knows that. She does have a few friends, but she does not go out very often, and she has lots of energy. She is somewhat restless. She denies any difficulty with anger, and she denies any panic attacks, but she does admit to paranoid thoughts and believes people are looking at her. She admits to suicidal ideation. She has never actually attempted suicide, but she did have counseling when she was younger and lived in California. She has difficulties in school and describes herself as a wreck. In terms of behavioral history, she has abuse of alcohol and drugs, but she's never been arrested. The referral was administered and evaluation in this office in March of 2002. At the time, she was given a diagnosis of major depressive disorder with generalized anxiety and borderline and dependent personality disorder. Her reading comprehension level is very low. It appears cognitive abilities were consistent with today's testing. It appears to have had some difficulty concentrating in the reading comprehension testing. Emotionally, she appears to be as fragile as she has been in the past. She has not had any treatment and would have difficulty maintaining stability without long-term psychiatric treatment. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking, God is amazing. Where He's brought me from. The physical impairments that we're able to see is that she has nervousness, anxiety, but she doesn't have difficulty following directions. There is evidence of a speech impairment. She has a slight lisp. which I still do have. I have a list for those who don't notice. Her responses to questions and evaluations are somewhat slow. Interpersonal behaviors were characterized by limited eye contact, but good verbal initiative. Her affect was flat and her mood is depressed. Okay. Let's see what else. Like I said, I'm just sharing this because this is what God has brought me from. The personality description of the MMPI-2 test indicates that the clinical profile is valid for interpretation. The clinical profile describes the referral as a person who is experiencing moderate depression. What contributes to the depression includes feelings of unhappiness. She has personal discomfort and dissatisfaction with life, discouragement and pessimism about the future. There is also evidence of feeling of worthlessness and useless. She has low self-esteem. Moodiness is frequently observed with such a profile. The factor of losses in life also elevates this scale, and these losses can involve something that has been vital in the referral's life, and she has not grieved. The depression is affecting the referral's involvement and motivation for life. The profile describes the individual as someone who has difficulty managing anger. This anger usually goes back to childhood and presents some risk for impulsivity, unpredictability, and unreliability. This is often in response to a sense of unwantedness as a child. There is history of family conflicts. She has had abuse and difficulties in adjusting to various aspects of one's life. She has problems, deficiencies in emotional bonding, and the resistance to any emotional attachment to others. And everybody knows that I love people now. This results in an emotional turning off and an indifference to people. Life is often perceived as unfair. Results is an emotional turning off and an indifference to people. Life is often perceived as unfair, and this framework is used to justify any decision, judgment, or reaction. These individuals do not learn well from experience because they do not assess the consequences of their behavior. She is somewhat suspicious and distrustful of others, and sensitive to criticism and comments of others. I admit, sometimes I'm still kind of sensitive. The profile reflects anxiety, worry, tension, and stress as frequently experienced, with the possibility of obsessive-compulsive features to their thinking and behavior. Real and imagined fears are prominent, and panic attacks may be frequent. Excessive worry makes decision-making difficult, and the respondent has problems managing stress. Obsessive thoughts focus on self-doubts usually, and the level of anxiety can affect performance and accomplishments of goals. The profile reflects the respondent as having a conditioned anticipatory arousal for some shock or startle experiences that tend to be unpredictable and catastrophic. There can be a constant state of tension. She communicates low self-esteem with feelings of inadequacy, ineffectiveness, and insecurity. The data indicates confusion of self, a self of alienation, and is somewhat emotionally fragile. She has a good energy and activity level, but she is somewhat introverted and she's very withdrawn. And there's some other things here about my feelings of going crazy. But there's one part I had just met Jesus. And when they asked about one thing I hate, I said the devil. And the best time in my life is when I just became a Christian. And, you know, since then, amazing things have happened. And as I said in here, I was also diagnosed with a reading comprehension disorder. So, you know, I just wanted to share that, and just to share how God truly can do anything and set you free. And no matter what you're going through right now, know that He loves you. Know that He's real. Know that He's a miracle worker. And there is no doubt in my mind that anything you're dealing with, that He cannot set you free. I am not perfect. I may still have maybe different issues. I may get stressed out and things, but it's nothing like it used to be. And I'm completely free from drug and alcohol use. I'm completely free, just to let you know, in the diagnosis, it also talks about the medications that I was on: a major depressive disorder. I was on Prozac. I was on different antidepressants, different things just to help me stay stable. And I'm free from that. And just let you know, like, I don't need any of that medication anymore. And despite what I go through, my hope is in God. My peace is in Him. Even when I cry, I wipe those tears away, and I know that He loves me. And as far as having no hope for the future and needing long-term psychiatric evaluation in order to function, to God be the glory, as I'm here, and it's been 11 years, and I'm functioning better than I ever have. Better than I ever have. While on medication, psychiatric help, I was not functioning well, even with that. Because the truth is, the answer was never in what man could do for me. Only God could do it. Okay, and I just wanted to encourage you guys, and I love y'all. And I pray that my testimony can bless you. Take care.